Okay. How do I look?
All right. It's you.
Okay. I'm going to start my slideshow. Okay, here we go. All right. Today I'm going to do a presentation for a Forth I recently.
We just lost your audio, Joe. Or I just lost audio. I'm not sure.
I have lost audio as well. I think it is everybody that has lost. Joe is now muted. I didn't do it. He muted himself.
All right.
And
Back to where I was before.
Fatty, audio's now working.
All right. Why build a Forth for Visual Basic 6? In this case, because somebody asked for it. In January of this year, Peter Forth put me in touch with Buzz Ross. Buzz has a background in Forth for embedded systems, but has also done a lot of development work using Visual Basic. He was interested in combining the strengths of both languages. This short presentation will summarize my work on building a version of Forth for VB6. It is similar in structure to other versions of Forth that I have built for my own use. The design, it's partitioned to the following VB class files. Aspect CLS is reserved for application-specific primitives. ArrayList CLS used as the basic for the stacks. Compile info CLS, it's a container used to help build a high-level definition. Compiler CLS, this is the colon compiler, has defining and compiling definitions. Core prim CLS, code for core primitives such as dupe, swap, rot, minus rot, and basic math. Creole Forth bundle CLS, this builds the tables of primitives and high-level definitions. Creole word.cls defines a Creole Forth word. Global simple prop CLS, this is a generic object that all primitives take as a parameter. It has the stacks, other globally available data structures, push and pop. Interpreter CLS, this is the outer interpreter, do colon and vocabulary words. Logic op CLS, logical operatives, whoops. Loop info, it's the container for do loop, and return look CLS is a container for return stack information. Creating words. All words are based on the Creole word object. They come in two forms. Primitives, you write code in VB, then reference it with the build primitive method. High-level definitions, these are generally built with the colon compiler. Create does pair is available too. They make use of the parameter field while primitives generally do not.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. After setting up in Core Prim's module, you add a dictionary entry in Creole Forth bundle CLS with the build primitive method. So this is the VB code. So that's the name, that's the class that's defined from, and this is the primitive method name. And this is what vocabulary name is, and this is its compilation action. And this is a comment, stack comment that shows what's in the help definition. So high level definitions, I've created a method called build high level. And you just do a standard colon compiler definition, and then there's help there for that parameter. Colon compiler, a little bit unusual, has no state variable. Immediate words are all in the immediate vocabulary. Compilation begins when immediate is pushed onto the vocabulary stack. This means immediate words are always first in the search order during compilation. When compilation is terminated, the immediate vocabulary is popped off the vocabulary stack. This prevents this vocabulary from being accessible when not compiling. So is it usable in Microsoft Office? Yes, you just import the listed CLS or class files and make sure Microsoft scripting runtime is referenced in tools references. There's an example of this in my GitHub repository. If you use it with Excel, primitives like plus, minus, times, slash, less than, greater than, etc., don't react well when placed at the beginning of Excel cells. Because of this, it may be advisable to give them substitute names like n plus, n minus, n times, and slash, less than, greater than. So I have a proof of concept demo application in Excel. So the steps to building, you import the class files. I changed the names of the primitives as I said I would. Do the same with the logic primitives. I wrote some interfacing macros, and then I wrote any other necessary primitives or high level definitions. So application specific primitives can go in the app spec class. So, all right, here's my demo. This is what I call a poor man's user interface. So I just put this in an Excel sheet, and then I run the X. So whatever row it's on, which has the X in it, runs it. So not very exciting here. This runs vlist. It goes to another spreadsheet. So this just does a dump of what's in the vocabulary. So you see the online help too in the help field. All right. I've been trying to learn Vietnamese. So this is an application or a word to help me with format flashcards properly to input into this memory system that I use. So this is their original format. So it's not quite in an acceptable format. So what I do is I use the VQA word, and I put it the output in another spreadsheet, which is properly formatted for use. So I run that. Okay, and so not much has changed. It just puts a Q on one line and an A on another. I could save it to a file, but unfortunately, Excel tends to mangle Vietnamese. So I just can do well enough with a copy and paste into Notepad when I need it, and then save it. This is my high level do looping, just showing that it can be done. So 3H just executes the hello primitive 3 times. So any questions?
That's pretty cool, Joe.
Thank you. So yeah, it can be, it was developed in Visual Basic 6, but it can just as easily be used in the Microsoft Office products. I found it most generally useful with Excel. I've written a ton of small applications with that, but it could be used in Word or even PowerPoint. PowerPoint these days is a little bit hard to approach with VBA. So
Can you show us the source code of these sample programs, like
absolutely,
the list definitions or whatever?
yeah. So if you go into macros here and you view the macros, that'll show you what you want. Here are the class files. So I imported these classes. So app spec. I have just see, this is my do test. So if I ran the test command, it would just say pop up a message box saying testing. So this is my Q&A that converted the flashcards.
So I'm looking for the fourth.
Ah, you're looking for the fourth. So you go into Creole Forth bundle. So I build the definitions here. So when you create primitives, it's a 2-step process. You build a VBA code wherever you want it, like in app spec, and then you reference it in Creole Forth bundle. So
Yeah, so I'm still a little confused. Where's the code for Viet? So I understand about building the primitives, but I'm trying to understand how you build an application. I mean, you had this thing called Viet, and you were running it, but I don't think I've seen the code for. Oh, is Viet a primitive? Is that it on
yeah,
the
it's a
screen?
primitive. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I don't have very many high level definitions developed yet.
Okay. So the point is that in Excel, you're executing one word
Right.
from that cell, and so the cell has the name of the word in it, and then you're executing that, and then
Correct.
that's going into this vocabulary and actually running the code. I see now. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So, all right, let me see if I can get rid of this. Okay. So, see, I only have a handful of high level definitions here. So this tests the begin until looping.
Mhm.
This just tests the colon compiler. So test 3 will run the hello and the tulip primitive. And this tests the create and does. So constant, creates a constant. And 3H, that just does the looping 3 times. So
Do you think it would be possible to somehow reach into the formula that's defined for
yeah,
cell?
you can do that in Excel. You can just use a formula inside a primitive.
and then have that formula somehow contain Forth code that gets compiled by this and then run on the fly. But
Well,
that can't happen,
that's kind
right?
of inside out. What I did was I've successfully defined a primitive that uses formulas, and then you can just put them together, like you can assemble them just like you do um, with Forth, build
Oh,
an
I see.
assemblage of words. That's what I've done.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Um, uh, so I had an earlier version that worked with just with Excel, Creole Forth for Excel, but this particular version with VB6, it's not particularly bound to any Microsoft Office product.
Right. So
So
this is more of like a back end um, application wide tool, not really designed for like any one application, but for use to do complex tasks behind the scenes. In my mind, it seems like it's kind of like server code as opposed to like browser code, um, which makes sense then.
yeah, I guess you could say that. I consider it a scripting language that
Right, there you go. Yeah, like a back-end scripting language. Right.
yeah, it's more convenient to use than raw VBA code, because the problem with um, I guess it gives you the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's cool stuff. It's good stuff.
thank you. So, any more questions?
Yes, can I ask something? I mean,
Sure.
this Liang here from Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually I try to implement Forth in Google spreadsheets myself. I mean, I haven't got very far on that, and I would like to congratulate you on succeeding in Microsoft Excel. But I think my question is that actually, have you thought of, like, I mean, since you conquered Excel with Forth, do
Yes.
you think there's any chance of like introducing this to schools, like, or primary, or maybe not primary, secondary schools, like teaching them Forth or something like that?
Uh, hmm. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, it might be an excellent idea to do something like that, um, or something similar. Okay, the strength about with Forth is that everything is extremely simple behind the scenes. Parsing is almost trivial. So I could explain to um, with a regular compiler, it would take me a long time to explain how to do things like with uh, Bacchus norm, recursive descent to parse, but with Forth, it's trivial.
Yeah, I just want to add one more point. That is also something I have been working on,
Yeah.
to interface Forth syntax with symbolic mathematics. There is a project called Sim Engine, SYMENGINE, Sim Engine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a C++ project on GitHub,
Mm-hmm.
and I have ported a Forth interface to that, so I can actually do Forth syntax for symbolic mathematics, like polynomial expansions and all that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that is actually something I'm thinking, because like the symbolic mathematics will be like the high school kind of thing, and then the Excel,
Mm-hmm.
would be like the lower secondary school curriculum. So that's
Mm-hmm.
some ideas that I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thinking just to share with you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, sure. So, any other questions, comments? Um, this isn't in terms of amount of code. Um, I'm not quite at the level of Dr. Ting. He was able to do a Forth in I don't know, a couple of hundred lines. So I counted the lines of code. It's somewhere over 2,000 lines, but I don't think that's bad. I think the basic idea is pretty simple. So okay, can I stop sharing?
Yeah. I think Kevin appears absent. I guess we should move on to the next talk.
Yeah.
Kevin is right here,
Oh, hey, Kevin.
and you don't need anybody's permission to stop sharing. But next is Dr. Ting, who will introduce himself. Who has to unmute before he can introduce himself.
Okay. All right.
Christopher Lazinski, mute yourself, please.
Yeah, let me go get to my screen. I can